Learning English with the Bible? Sounds strange, right? But maybe what's holding you back isn't your English. Maybe it's your wisdom. You see, most people keep repeating the same mistakes, not just with words, but with life, because they never stop to ask, what's guiding my voice? Have you ever said something in English and immediately regretted it? Or stayed silent, afraid to say the wrong thing? What if Proverbs 3 could fix that? Not just by teaching you new phrases, but by unlocking a new way of speaking. Because let's be honest, you don't need more vocabulary. You need direction. You need a voice that doesn't just sound good, but does good. And the truth is, if you keep ignoring these lessons, you're not just missing better English, you're missing better relationships, better decisions, a better future. But if you stay with me for the next few minutes, you're going to learn how ancient wisdom can totally shift how you speak, live, and lead. This is not about sounding smart. It's about becoming wise. Ready? Let's dive into Proverbs 3 and discover why speaking like a fool ends today. Lesson 1. Trusting your own voice can be a trap. Have you ever been so sure about something only to realize later that you were completely wrong? Maybe you insisted on using a certain English phrase that didn't mean what you thought. Or maybe it was bigger, trusting your feelings over facts or your emotions over wisdom. Proverbs 3-5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." That one verse has saved people from disaster, and yet it's ignored every day. We love to think we've got it all figured out. But have you ever noticed how often our own understanding leads to confusion, anxiety, or even regret? That's because confidence without guidance is a trap. Especially when learning English, trusting only yourself can leave you stuck repeating the same patterns, mispronouncing the same words, missing deeper meaning. That's not learning. That's leaning on the wrong thing. This is the moment to change the way you speak, think, and believe. What if every time you open your mouth, you paused for just a second, not to doubt yourself, but to invite wisdom in? That's what Proverbs is really about. It's not saying you're not smart. It's saying you don't have to do this alone. When you invite God into your learning, into your thoughts, into your words, you stop sounding just fluent, and you start sounding wise, because wisdom changes tone, it changes timing, it even changes vocabulary. You begin to speak not just from your head, but from your heart, and people feel that. They respond to that. So if you've been feeling stuck in your English, your growth, or your relationships, maybe it's time to stop leaning on yourself and start leaning on the Word that sees further than you do. And that's just the first shift. Lesson 2. Kindness and truth make you fluent in life and language. Have you ever met someone who speaks perfect English, but their words feel cold or even arrogant? On the other hand, maybe you've met someone who speaks with an accent, makes mistakes, but their words touch your heart. Proverbs 3:3 says, "Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, Write them on the tablet of your heart. This isn't about memorizing phrases. It's about who you're becoming while you speak. English fluency without character is just noise. But when your words carry love and truth, even broken grammar becomes powerful. Why? Because people don't just remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. And in a world full of harsh comments, rushed conversations, and fake smiles, your kindness becomes your fluency. Your truth becomes your accent. This is the moment to change the way you speak, think, and believe. What if your greatest English lesson today isn't a new word, but a new intention? The way you speak reveals the condition of your heart. Proverbs isn't just asking you to say nice things. It's asking you to become someone who carries kindness and truth in every sentence. Think about it. Your tone can open doors or close them. Your attitude can inspire someone or shut them down completely. And when you blend language learning with inner transformation, people don't just hear you, they feel you. Your voice becomes a safe space. Your English becomes a channel for healing. So ask yourself, are your words just smart or are they sincere? Because that difference is where the real transformation begins. Lesson 3. God corrects those who can truly learn. Have you ever gotten upset when someone corrected your English? Maybe it felt like an attack. Maybe it reminded you of a school teacher who made you feel small. But what if correction wasn't rejection but love? Proverbs 3:11-12 says, "Do not despise the Lord's discipline, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in." Correction is uncomfortable, but it's also essential. You can't grow without feedback. You can't become fluent without failing forward. And the people who learn fastest, they're not the ones who know the most, they're the ones humble enough to be corrected. In language, in life, and faith. So if every time someone points out a mistake you shut down, maybe the lesson isn't about grammar. Maybe it's about the pride holding you back from your next level. This is the moment to change the way you speak, think, and believe. Correction isn't a curse, it's a compass. Every time you're willing to be corrected, you're saying, I care more about growth than my ego. And that's what separates the wise from the foolish. Imagine if you received every correction with curiosity instead of shame. How fast could your English improve? How much stronger could your character become? God's discipline isn't just about punishment. It's about preparation. He's shaping your future through the little details you'd rather skip. So the next time someone corrects your pronunciation or grammar, remember, it might not be just a teacher. It might be God giving you a nudge, saying, you're ready for more, and this mindset prepares you for something even greater. Lesson 4. Wisdom brings wealth. Including the way you speak, have you ever envied someone who speaks English with confidence and elegance? It feels like they have something you don't, a natural rhythm, the right words at the right time. But maybe what they have isn't talent, it's wisdom. Proverbs 3:13-15 says, "Blessed are those who find wisdom, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold." We often chase the wrong kind of wealth fame, fluency, or flawless accents. But the Bible is clear. Wisdom is more valuable than any of it. Why? Because wisdom teaches how to speak, not just what to say. It teaches timing, respect, silence, and boldness. And in English or in life, that kind of speech builds trust, creates influence, and opens doors. So the next time you admire someone's English, ask yourself, is it really just their vocabulary, or is it the wisdom behind their words? This is the moment to change the way you speak, think, and believe. What if your greatest investment right now isn't in language apps, but in seeking wisdom? Proverbs says it brings peace, honor, long life things even money can't buy. When you speak with wisdom, your words become currency. They carry value. They create emotional impact. People want to listen, not because your English is perfect, but because your voice carries something deeper. Think about it. Some of the world's most powerful leaders don't speak with perfect grammar, but their words move nations. Why? Because they speak from a place of depth, and that's what wisdom gives you. So instead of chasing perfection, chase insight. Because once you find it, your words will carry a different kind of wealth. And that leads us to one last truth. Lesson 5. The way you speak reveals your heart's direction. Have you ever looked back at a conversation and thought, that didn't sound like me? Sometimes the words we speak reveal more than we intended: our frustration, our fear, our pride. Proverbs 3 doesn't just offer promises, it gives a map. Verse 6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." That includes your speech. Your words aren't just random, they're footsteps. Every sentence you say is leading you somewhere. The question is, where? Toward peace or conflict? Growth or regret? The way you speak English isn't neutral. It reveals your direction, your values, your mindset, even your faith. So if you find your words always rushed, defensive, negative, maybe it's time to check the compass of your heart. Because a straight path starts with surrendered speech. This is the moment to change the way you speak, think, and believe. Imagine if your English became more than a skill, but a signpost. A daily way to show who you follow, what you value, and where you're going. That's what Proverbs 3 offers. Not just wisdom for what to say, but alignment in how to live. When your heart is aligned with God, your words follow naturally. They bless instead of burden. They build instead of break. And the beauty is this has nothing to do with fluency. Even simple phrases can become powerful when they come from a heart that's anchored. So ask yourself, if someone followed the direction of your words, where would they end up? Because whether you realize it or not, your English is already leading someone. Make sure it's leading them somewhere worth going. Now you know your English isn't just about words. It's about your heart, your direction, your identity. Proverbs 3 isn't a grammar manual, it's a mirror. A voice calling you to speak with intention, with wisdom, with purpose. You've just discovered that trusting your own voice too much can lead you astray. that kindness and truth are more fluent than any accent, that correction is actually love in disguise, that wisdom brings wealth that no money can match, and that every word you speak reveals your internal GPS. So now comes the real question. What will you do with this? Which of these 5 truths hit you the hardest? Which lesson made you stop and think, that's me? And most of all, will you speak differently from now on? Because if you do, your English will change, but so will your life. Don't let this video be just inspiration. Make it action. Comment below and tell me, which part of Proverbs 3 will you carry with you today? Share this with someone who needs to stop speaking like a fool and start living with wisdom. And if this moved you, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us. This channel is about more than language. It's about transformation. And your next chapter? It starts with your voice.